Hello everybody and welcome to the first episode post TaskSpoon series. In the last video, I finished the spreadsheet and I maxed my account. So you could say it was a pretty important episode. If you want to go and watch that, please do. And in this video, this is going to be the first and only episode I do between now and starting the next series. And I only really have one goal in mind, which is to get an Infernal Cape. It is something that I'm going to want going forward, and there isn't really any other time to do it, so I've decided I'm just going to do it now. Today's video goal is to do the Inferno. But before we get started with the Inferno, I have created a list of things that I need to either do or gather to give me the best chance of actually completing it, some supply things and some gear upgrades and whatnot that I want to go over real quick. So first of all, I want to get some prayer regeneration potions, which means that I need some Huasca seeds from Huaycodal, and I need some Alderin, whatever, secondary stuff for mastering mixology. So I have to do a little bit of both of those. I would like some Bastion potions. They're not the biggest deal, but if I can just go and do a little bit of TOB for some vials of blood, I can make a bunch of Bastion potions, and then I don't really have to worry about it. There's one gear upgrade that I've been thinking about getting, which is some Virtus. I don't have any Virtus pieces, and I've been meaning to do some Desert Treasure 2 bosses anyway, so I might do a little bit of that and hope for some Virtus. I'm not going to spend too much time on that because Virtus is rather rare, but that is an option. I need to do some Vorkath just to get ahead, because I'm not sure if I have used a head on my Max Cape or Range Cape, and I just want to make sure of that. Shouldn't take very long at all. And I need to get a new Crystal Shield, which will take like 4 seconds. But that's my list of things that I need to do. So it turns out I already have a Crystal Shield. I must have taken it as my reward from Roving Elves. I don't remember, but considering it only has 393 charges, I was going to just go and make a new one. But turns out after a somewhat recent patch, you can just use crystal shards on it to charge it. So I won't have to do that at all. Now you can't uncharge it, so I don't want to put too many in here, but if I just put like 10 in, it should add a bunch of charges. If I check it, there we go, 1400 charges. Obviously, I can just recharge this whenever I need it, which is really nice. I thought I was just going to have to keep making new ones, but there we go. Crystal Shield done. That was easy. Now, you might be wondering why I need a Crystal Shield when I was just talking about how I got the Blessed Spirit Shield in the last episode. The Blessed Spirit Shield is better in every way other than range defense. It's higher prayer, higher every other defense, but range. And the range defense is actually what's extremely important. If you're ever going to be tanking hits, it's going to be range hits, because you're going to be praying mage against the major at all times. The range defense of the Crystal Shield could actually save your life. So even though the Spirit Shield is, in my opinion, way cooler and would be way better for something like prayer or other defenses, the Crystal Shield is just superior for the Inferno specifically. So I now have that ready to go. So the next thing I want to do is some Vorkath. The only reason I need to do this is to get another head to check if I've used it on my Max Cape. I'm pretty sure I have, and I've done tests to try and figure out if I have, but I figured the only way that I can guarantee it is if I try and use another one and it says that I've already done it. So I just need to go and get another Vorkath head. They're a 1 in 50. It shouldn't take too long. At the very least, I get to go and do something that I like Vorkath, and I almost never get a chance to do it on this account, at least so far. So I'm just going to go and do some kills, hopefully get ahead. And who knows, maybe I could get lucky and finally get my first Draconic Visage. Somehow I still don't have one of those on my account, so that would be nice. Hey, a speed task! You know, that's really funny because I didn't see any items on the ground and I kind of got baited into thinking I might have got the pet. Because I thought I already had that speed task. I knew I was missing the Grandmaster one, but it's still cool. Oh my god, please give me the combat achievement, please. Yes, dude, screw that combat achievement. That's the combat achievement for not getting hit by the acid pools or the dragon breath during the acid phase. For 5 kills in a row, and it's usually really annoying with melee. It will always put an acid pool under your feet, so you have to move immediately, but then sometimes you just move onto a pool. You only get 1 tick of clearance before the acid becomes active, so it can be really annoying. Most of the time people will just use range. There's a set of like 7 tiles here or something where it'll never put acid, so if you just go here before the acid attack, you're guaranteed to avoid it. but I didn't want to slow down to do that, so I was just hoping to get it, and eventually I did. Okay, well, I did 75 kills, and I just didn't get another head. I only have one drop in 210 KC, if you don't include the guaranteed one at 50, so that's kind of weird RNG, but I think I'm pretty sure I used one on it before, and based on my testing, I think I did, because none of my ammo was breaking. I'm just going to assume I did, and we're going to move on. That's enough forecast. Alright, next thing on the list, I'm going to be doing some mastering mixology. It's already pretty late tonight, and I figure I might as well just do this for the rest of the evening and buy as much Aldarium as I can, or as much as I'll need. According to this, you can get about 42 per hour, and you need 1 per potion, so I don't know how long I'm going to be here for, but I'm just probably going to go through all this paste. Alright, hello to the gamers. It's the next day. I went through most of that paste, but I'm actually going to keep going. I don't really want to come back here, and I have no idea how much Huasca I'm actually going to get. So I'm going to get some more points. I still also do need this reagent pouch. So even if I go overboard, whatever I have left over will contribute towards that. But for now, I'm just going to keep going. I'm going to need to find some more herbs to turn into paste. And I'm just going to make a bunch until I'm sick of this minigame, and then I won't come back here for a long time. Okay, I'm just going to call it there. 78 Aldarium, that should be enough for now. I do already have 27 Huascas, which I kind of forgot about, but I'm going to go over to Huecoatl and try and get some more seeds. Yeah, I'm going to want these prayer regeneration potions for other stuff in the future anyway, so might as well do it now, if I can find a couple people. If not, I'll have to do something else. So as far as the Huecoatl goes, I'm just here for Huasca seeds, but I would be lying if I said that another collection log slot wouldn't be cool, or even a pet would be pretty sick, but just here for seeds. Somehow I only have 4 in 132 kills. I have the same number of hides as seeds somehow, so I have no idea how long this is going to take me. I want to get a few just because I want prayer regeneration potions for other stuff as well, so I'm probably just going to stay here until the people that I'm going to kill it with have to leave, and then I'll figure out what I want to do from there. There's 3 more hides? Really? What is going on? Alright, this should be another combat achievement. That was really annoying. Perfect Huecoatl. Let's go. That was the combat achievement for not getting hit by pretty much everything for 5 kills in a row without leaving, which is really annoying because that shockwave attack is really deceptive. Although I did find a nice little corner strat. That's what these tiles are marked as. But yeah, very happy to get that one done. Still, really weird log. 9 hides and 141 kills with only 4 seeds. But okay. So I already had the coif and the vambraces that are in the Master Clue stash. That was the main reason that I got them in the first place. But now I have 6 extra hides, which theoretically I could make the full set. I believe the body is 3 and the legs are 2. But I don't know if they have even the slightest purpose for me. The only reason I wear God D hide is for God Wars Dungeon, and they're only slightly better than that and just strictly worse than the other gear that I have, like Masori and Arma. So the hides are essentially just useless for me. Maybe I can put them in Death's Coffer later, but that kind of sucks, considering that I only have 4 Huasca seeds. Alright, so this is kind of interesting and something I haven't talked about before. This tooth half of key is not a regular tooth half of key. This is the tooth half of the moon key, which you use to open the moon chest, which has a very rare drop in it that would be super cool to get, but as of right now is not on the collection log, thankfully, because it is a 1 in 500 drop from the chest themselves, and these keys are already extremely rare. This tooth half is a 1 in 150 from Huecoatl, 1 in 500 from a Moxley Addle, 1 in, I don't know, 6,500 from Frost Naguas. These keys are extremely rare to even get one of. So to have to potentially farm hundreds of them for the moon helmet would suck, because I don't want to have to do that. But it is cool to get. This is the first tooth half I've gotten, and I haven't got the other half. The other half, by the way, you just get from, like, skilling around Varlamore, like rune rocks, fishing spots, magic trees, etc. So Yeah, that's just something cool. This is the first one of those I've gotten, and probably not going to get many more. Oh my goodness, I wasn't even recording, but I finally got a seed drop. Let's go. I have been killing Huikodal literally all day, mostly in those trios, but they had to go and I wanted to continue, so I went over to the mass world and yeah, 209 KC, finally got a second Huasca seed drop. That's insane. I am going to keep going though, because I still want one more, but that is a good start, I guess. Let's go. So I was planning on getting even more of those, but that's going to have to do. I'm so sick of this boss. I've got 8 seeds, and I will go and plant them over a bit of time in disease-free patches only, just to make sure that I get them. Alright, it is the next day. I have farmed my Huasca seeds. I've got 100 herbs exactly, 78 Aldariums. Let's make some potions. Alright, there we go. 281 doses of prayer regeneration. That'll be more than enough for what I want to do. And moving on. And the next thing on the list is going to be some TOB. I'm probably just going to end up doing entry mode. I really don't need many vials of blood. You don't really use that many bastion potions, but I have exactly 3 doses left. So I'm probably just going to do entry modes by myself until I get 1 drop. At some point, I'll learn how to do actual TOB. The only real TOB experience I've had has been on leagues, where even though I was able to do hard mode TOB pretty easily, it is leagues, so it doesn't really count. So eventually, I will learn the actual TOB tactics and learn it with the team and whatnot, but yeah, for now, just gonna be me. Oh, I definitely forgot to record, like, most of that, but I got a couple combat achievements as well, so that's cool, something I wasn't expecting. And I kind of half remember how to do this, so it shouldn't be too bad. Is that it? Did I do it? Hey, there we go. A speed chaser time. There's a speed task to get a sub 17-minute time, and the last kill that I did, I believe, was a 17:04, which was very annoying, so... there we go, a master combat achievement done, and maybe we'll get some vials of blood. Hey, there we go, 20 vials, we're done, nice. Only ended up taking me 4 completions to get another vials of blood drop. Took like, I don't know, 2 hours of raiding, wasn't too bad at all. And we only have one more thing on the list. Alright, so this is going to be my current Inferno setup. The range setup is actually really good. If you don't consider the T-bow, because obviously I don't have that, if you're going with a Bofa setup, this is essentially best in slot everything. I got Zeravan braces, Echo boots, Max Cape. I mean, this is exactly what you want. Now, as far as the mage setup goes, it's not bad. As far as DPS goes, it's okay. I mean, the Blood Ancient Scepter is nice for the overheal, but the one thing that I think could do with an upgrade is the Arums. If I could get a Virtus top or bottom, that would be really nice. When using Ancient Magics, the Virtus percent magic damage bonus goes from 2%, which is already a 1% increase from Arums, but it goes all the way up to 5% per piece. So if I could get either one of those, that would be very useful. So here's the plan. The Easter long weekend is coming up, and I already have a few plans and obligations of places that I have to be for real life stuff. So I really don't want to start my Inferno grind in the middle of all that. So what I'm probably going to do is just try and get some Virtus pieces until I'm going to be less busy with real life stuff, and then I'll start the Inferno attempts then. So until then, my plan is going to be to go and kill some Duke. I still am missing the Eye of the Duke, which would be great, even though somehow I have a Magus Vestige and a pet on 181 KC. Absolutely spooned at Duke, but we're going to ignore that. So I'm going to go and kill Duke and hope for a Virtus robe top or bottom. And if I get the Eye first, I'll move on to a different boss, just so that way there's at least one drop that's useful that outside of the Virtus pieces. I'll probably end up killing some Leviathan, because I'm also missing the Lure and the Vestige, and I can still get all the Virtus pieces. So the plan is Duke until I'm not busy, and then start Inferno. Orb! Dang, that was fast! Orb! 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 Alright, well, that's enough Duke for me. I only ended up doing like 100 kills. Like I said, I really didn't have much time to play, but the weekend is over, and I guess I'm ready to start the Inferno. Yay! So, let's talk a little bit about the Inferno. The Inferno is a solo wave-based minigame, much like the Fight Caves, only significantly harder. And similar to the Fight Caves, if you can complete it, you're rewarded with a very strong melee cape. The Fight Caves obviously giving you the Fire Cape, the Inferno giving you the Infernal Cape, being the best in-slot melee cape in the game. Now, I have never done an Inferno on the main game. The only time I've ever completed the Inferno was on Leagues. In Leagues 3, I managed to do the Inferno on my first try. Now, admittedly, in Leagues, you're basically a god. You're extremely strong. I had Banker's Note, so I had infinite supplies, infinite health, infinite prayer, infinite everything. So this is going to be nothing like that, although I do have very, very, very minimal experience in there. So I don't really know how long this is going to take me. I have done a Coliseum clear on this account with very suboptimal gear, doing essentially the whole thing with a Bofa without rigor and before Deadeye was even in the game. So that was kind of difficult. This is supposed to be somewhat easier in terms of the actual skill that you need to do it, but the Inferno takes significantly longer. The Coliseum, my first clear, I think took me like 38 minutes. Most people's first clears in the Inferno are like 3 to 4 hours. So you do have to play well for a longer period of time, which gives you more chances to make mistakes, but the actual challenges aren't as difficult. So I have no idea what this is going to be like, but I am excited to get started. So this is going to be what my inventory and gear setup are going to look like. I did make a few changes. For starters, I'm going to bring the light bearer. I've been watching guides like literally all day. I've spent like 2.5, 3 hours just watching guides and people do Inferno attempts just to see what it's like and what I'm getting myself into. And one of the things I watched was No Monkey's videos, where he basically swore by the light bearer and said that having a light bearer makes it so you can blowpipe spec pretty much as you want. And blowpipe specking is really useful for killing some of the meleeers and healing and whatnot. So I'm going to trust him and bring the light bearer. And other than that, the only other change is I'm actually going to bring the Quiver Max Cape instead of the normal Max Cape because, I don't know, it looks cool. I have it. I don't know. The Max Cape obviously has some benefits, but I think the extra damage and accuracy from the Quiver is going to help me more than the Max Cape itself. And other than that, the inventory is going to look like this when I actually go for my attempts, but for now, I'm not going to bring the prayer regens. Using up to 3 prayer regens an attempt would go through the stack very quickly, and the benefit is it actually is just a lot more prayer per potion, but I'm not going to go through all of these restores anyway on my first attempts. I'm most likely going to die before I even use half of them, so I'm just going to use restores for now, and then once I get farther into the waves, I'll bring the regens. And other than that, I think I'm ready to go. I don't know, I'm scared. See, now this is the fun part of the Inferno, where I get to go in with essentially 0 expectations. I could die on the 3rd wave, and it would be a new death for me. So, let's just do it. Hey guys, Future Spoon here. This video took a lot of time and effort and stress to make. And I have a lot of big plans coming up in the future, so I just wanted to remind you guys, go and check if you're subscribed. It really does help out the channel, and it'll help ensure that you don't miss out on any future episodes. The next video should be a big one. I'm starting my new series on this account, and I'm very excited for it. So if you could go, just make sure you're subscribed. Maybe leave me a like if you're enjoying the video so far, as both those things really help my videos out with the YouTube algorithm. But thank you, I hope you enjoy, and I'll see you soon. No! Well, I made it to wave 48 on my first attempt. I have no idea if that's good or bad or normal in any way, but honestly, I felt okay. I did use a lot of supplies just because I was very careless. Instead of just, you know, making sure I had time to blood barrage up, I would just use brews because I knew I wasn't going to go through all of them. So I definitely could have used less of those, but the restores, I don't know, I used a lot of prayer. Maybe I should start bringing some prayer regens. Even though that was only my first try, I'm already going back on what I said, but I made it pretty far already, so I don't know. I don't know. Why? What am I doing? I'm so stupid. Why? Like, I just sat there, didn't do anything. Oh my god. Whatever. Wave 61 on my second attempt. That's pretty good. Okay, I wanted to talk about this death because I thought it was funny. I had a bunch of misclicks here, and I ended up tanking a mage hit, which fortunately only hit me for an 8, but I was really panicking. The snake then proceeded to hit me for a 35, a 38, a 22, and then a 30 to kill me. And I went and did the math. He only had a 38% chance to hit me on any given hit, which means the chances he hits me 4 times in a row is like 2.1%. And he would have to hit me for that much damage. I was actually so insanely unlucky here. Sometimes you just find yourself in a situation where you're like, how did I get here? I'm gaming, dude. I remember I was watching a video that was saying if you have a major on the pillar here and a meleeer literally anywhere that's about to dig, if you stand on this tile, then when it digs stands here, it corner traps him on the major, and then you can finish the major, kill the meleeer, and somehow I remembered that in the moment and did exactly that, and it worked perfectly. So, go me. Alright, well, I made it to Jad. At least I will once I kill this mage, except then he's probably going to respawn the other mage, which is then probably going to respawn this mage. But once I kill a bunch of mages, I will have made it to Jad. Let's go. Oh, that's annoying. Okay, well. Alright, well, I was able to sort of half stack the healers and heal up a little bit with Blood Barrage, which is really nice, because I forgot that if you stand next to the pillar when you finish the wave, then you take a bunch of damage. But I've got 84 HP. I'm debating on whether or not to use a couple brews now, or if I want to save them. I don't think I'm going to kill Zuck this time. In fact, I'd be amazed if I made it through triple Jads, but this is taking me so long, man. This is too draining. It doesn't really matter if I beat triple Jads or not. I do not have enough prayer or supplies to actually kill Zuck. So at this point, I'm just trying to do it for the experience and maybe get a little bit of Zuck practice. Although, again, the prayer is going to be a big problem, but we're just going to send it. So, I'm in a really tough position here where all I have is 2 doses of brew, which I essentially can't use, otherwise my range attacks won't hit. So this thing is useless. I have 75 health and 38 prayer points. I don't think this is possible. I should have blowpipe spec'd. What am I doing? That would have been so smart. Oh well. I'm not gonna win anyway, but at least I get to see Zuck. Honestly, this is probably like the best case scenario. The first time getting to Zuck is essentially a wash. There's no way I win. So I don't have to really worry or stress about it because I've already lost. So I just need to practice and try and see how far I can get. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, well. I was trying to see if I could kill the ranger without using prayer to try and save them for the mages or maybe even Jad if I got there, but realistically, I just panicked because I was dying and then forgot to be behind the shield, but oh well. I did learn a lot from that run. I mean, obviously, I made it all the way to Zuck on my 3rd attempt, which is pretty good, I think. I don't really know what the average is, but I did learn specifically on Zuck there that there's actually a lot of time between the attacks before the enrage phase. I was kind of panicking trying to get behind the shield, but it only really attacks you 4 times per cycle, and the cycle takes a long time. So I need to just remember to slow down, calm down, don't need to panic, and just make sure as long as you're behind the shield on the safe spots, the rest of it really doesn't matter that much. So at least I learned something. So that was actually a pretty sloppy run. I made a lot of mistakes that I needed to use a bunch of supplies that I shouldn't have. And not to mention, I wasn't bringing in the stuff that I normally would. So I'm going to start bringing in my prayer regens. That should help a lot with the prayer. And I'm going to bring a few less brews because I actually don't think I'll need them as much. And I'm going to bring a bastion and hopefully we can get this done sooner rather than later because this is too stressful for me. Something that's interesting and a big difference between my experience at the Colosseum and at the Inferno is just how much it burns me out. When I was doing Colosseum runs, I was doing like 8 to 12 hour days. I would go in, I would probably live for about 15 to 30 minutes. I would die, I would take a quick mental reset, and I would just go back in. Because it was so quick, obviously like the challenges are still hard, but the actual amount of like focus and mental energy that it drained to do an attempt at the Colosseum was a lot lower, versus these Inferno attempts. After each one, I feel like I want to go take a nap. Like, my brain is so tired after each one of these attempts. I've only done 3 of them, and it's taken me, well, this is now day 3. I only did 1 attempt yesterday, because it ended up taking me, like, over 4 hours, if you include all the pauses and everything, and me going and looking up guides and stuff. And I kept telling myself, like, okay, take a little break and then go back in. And I was sitting here, I've just been chopping arrow shafts for no particular reason. I have a stack of 200,000 maple logs, so I'm just doing something. But I don't know, it's just so mentally draining. I ended up only doing 1 run yesterday. Admittedly, it was a pretty good one, but I've only done 3 attempts, and we're now on day 3. Well, unfortunately, that is another death, and I had a lot more emotion in my initial reaction, but it turns out my microphone just wasn't working on my software, so it didn't record anything I said. But the gist of it was, I'm stupid, I'm frustrated. I went back and looked frame by frame at when I messed up on the nibblers, and the frame that I clicked my ice barrage, my mouse, was like between the little nibbler's pincers, which apparently the hitbox doesn't cover, and so I misclicked the ice barrage. I tried to get them for some reason, even though I totally didn't have to. In hindsight, just let the pillar die. I don't need that pillar at all, but for some reason I tried to go and get them, and then all my mobs were in terrible spots, and I panicked and I died. So that kind of sucks. I was doing so well with supplies. The prayer regens are so OP. Not to mention, I'm going through a lot faster. I'm prayer flicking more, so I'm not using as much prayer in the first place. But yeah, I'm very frustrated. I'm going to go take a break. Watching back the footage just to confirm to myself that that is what happened, I totally would have been so fine if I just clicked on the corner like I'm supposed to, corner trapped the meleeer, the mage would have ran over in range of my Bofa, I could have killed the mage first, killed the mage. It would have been a perfect solve. It would have been so easy if I just let the pillar die, or didn't misclick in the first place. I'm so mad. Alright, well, I'm going to be making it to the Jad waves again with a stark difference in supplies. I haven't sipped a single brew or restore. I've gone through the whole waves using only prayer regen potions and 1 ranging dose on one of the hard waves, so I'm feeling a little bit better this time. Oh, I wasn't recording, but I actually remembered to not be standing next to the pillar this time. That's a start. Something interesting that I didn't realize is the prayer regen actually continues when you're paused. Most things freeze, like all your stat stuff and whatnot, so I'm just going to sit here until I get some prayer regen back. Alright, well, it wasn't flawless. I took another hit, which is embarrassing. I probably could have just died there, but Not to mention that first healer was whacking the crap out of me. I don't know what it was on, but made it to Zuck. 6.5 brews, 6.5-ish restores. I don't know, maybe. Yes, dude. Oh my god, we did it. I can't believe it. It was actually so easy. My heart is pounding, but it was easy as heck. So let's go. It only took me 2 hours, 59 minutes, and 51 seconds. Sub 3 hours, baby. Let's go. Man, I've been like, this took me a while in terms of like real life time, just because of, like I said before, the mental drain of just not wanting to go back into the Inferno. So this probably took me about a week to do my 6 attempts, including all the research and videos and stuff that I watched. But realistically, it only took me 6 tries. So it really wasn't that hard, especially Zuck. My heart was pounding, but once I realized that there really isn't much going on, it's not that hard. Now, I'm very glad I didn't get KO'd by the triple Jads, because that would have been super sad, but we have done it. The Infernal Cape. Oh my goodness, I need a max cape. Alright, let's just do one of these, put these two together, yes, combine them, and we have acquired the 3 best in slot max capes. Man, those look good. Well, not so much the mage one. Sorry, mage cape. I always enjoy seeing those posts on Reddit where people track all of their attempts in things like this for like the Inferno or Coliseum or any high-level content, and you can keep track of a nice little table with your attempt number, the wave you got to, the reason you died, put it onto a little graph and chart it so you can see your progression. And I regret not doing that for the Coliseum because I think it would be really interesting to see my progression throughout my attempts, but I decided to do it for the Inferno, and then I did it in 5 tries. So it looks like this. Really not much of a progression. I did cut out 1 here because I left intentionally on wave 31 because I used some brews, but yeah, there you go. Here is my progression. Very cool. So let's talk a little bit about the Infernal Cape itself while we're here. I'm going to assume that most of you already know that it is the best in slot melee cape in the game, but I wanted to talk about why it's so good. If you compare it to the Fire Cape, you can see that it has an extra 4 melee strength, and 4 melee strength is a really big number, most importantly because 4 melee strength is enough to get an extra max hit with most weapons in most setups. Sometimes it's 3, sometimes it's 5, depends on your strength level. I don't know, it's a whole calculation. But generally, 4 extra melee strength means you're adding +1 max hit to every weapon in the game. So it's essentially +1 max hit to everything, also adds a little bit of extra accuracy and defense, and honestly, more importantly, it looks freaking cool, man. Infernal Max Cape, this is a dream come true for me. Just for fun, I went to look up where the Infernal Cape is a best in slot item on the wiki, and, well, I was going to talk about it, but turns out there is 119 different guides on the OSRS wiki that have the Infernal Cape as the #1 item. So that says enough. And to celebrate me getting my cape, I've got some clues to open. I didn't really know how I was going to transition, but I have a bunch of these clues that I wanted to open, so I'm just going to do them now. I got most of the hard clues from AFKing Firewatch Sentinels for some blood shards a little bit ago, and the elite clues from like Vorkath and whatever I was killing before this, so I'm just going to open them. Alright, no new uniques from the hard clues. Awesome. Honestly, that's a little disappointing. I do still have some less common ones, although a lot of the things that I'm missing from hard clues are more rare, like the H plate bodies and the God D'hide shields and whatnot, but that's a little disappointing. But speaking of disappointment, let's go open some elite clues. I've got a lot left here, but it's elite clues, so I assume I'll get nothing. Hey, I got something! Bronze Dragon Mask, neat. Alright, well, one new collection log, and a master clue. Okay, I'm actually not going to do this master clue. This is a really quick triple step, and I've been meaning to hold on to one of these. If you don't know, if you get a really bad triple step and you have one of these on the ground, you can go and get the 3 clue pieces and then pick up the other clue, and it counts as completing the other clue, and then you just leave this one in the bank. So I think I'm going to do this for master clues. I'm going to need to do a lot of master clues going forward for the uniques, so having a quick triple is nice. So at least that's good. So here's the deal, gamers. For once in a long time, I'm actually ahead of schedule. I expected the Inferno grind to take many more attempts over a longer period of time. So the fact that I got it done so quickly means I actually have some extra time left in this video to go and do something. So I think I'm just going to go and take my Infernal Cape places that I want to go and hit stuff. Most notably, I want to go back to Duke, maybe try and get some Virtus pieces. I might just go and do all the things that I did before. Go back to Huecoatl, maybe get some more seeds for prairie gens going forward. Maybe go over to Vorkath, maybe get a vestige. I don't know, I just want to go and hit stuff with it. So I'm going to go and do stuff. I got the tome! Let's go! That's crazy. I was just coming back here. I was watching some sports, so I wanted to do something that I didn't really have to pay that much attention to. And I thought Mass Huecoatl fits that perfectly. I might be able to get some more Huasca seeds. I might be able to get some uniques. And sure enough, Tome of Earth. Nice. The only thing I'm missing now is the Dragon Hunter wand. Well, and the pet, but the Dragon Hunter wand is like so useless. I don't know where I would ever use that at this point in my account, but I still want the collection log, so I am going to stay here. Again, I really just want seeds. There's supposed to be a 1 in 34 drop, but I've been getting really unlucky on the seeds and really lucky with the uniques, so I don't know to complain or not, but I'm just going to keep going, because why not? No way I got another tome. Oh my god. I decided to send some solos because I really wanted to see a massive stack of seeds drop if I got it, and I got another tome instead first. This is unreal. I didn't even turn my recorder back on. I got Huecoatl hides like the next kill. What is going on? Hey, an ingot. My plan was to try and surprise you guys by doing a bunch of Huecoatl and then going over to Duke and getting something cool, but I've been here for like 90 kills, and that's the first interesting thing that I've gotten. And it's not even that interesting anymore because they added the way to make ingots, so they're not even really that useful. So anyway, I'm just going to keep going, but yeah, that's something at least. Huh. So I needed something more AFK to do while I edited this video and decided to come over to the Firewatch Sentinels. You never have enough blood shards on an Iron Man, so this is usually one of my AFK spots. And I had a realization that even something as simple as AFKing Firewatch Sentinels is slightly more efficient having an Inferno Cape. That one extra max hit, a little bit of extra accuracy, means that in the long term, I am getting slightly more blood shards than I was before. Which is kind of cool. Maybe I'm just that excited about my new cape, but yeah. Anyways, I've caught up to at least this point in the video in editing, and I've still got some time to kill. So let's get back to it. I want to go and kill some Vorkath. Well, I'm going to go do these 5 hard clues, then kill some Vorkath. That's so funny, dude. I did like 70 something kills, 90 kills. I don't even remember. I did a bunch of kills before this, try to get the head, and then my first kill back, I got another Vorkath head. Oh well, at least I can go and check now. I never ended up using my max cape, so I didn't really care, but that's so funny. Okay, it is the next day, and last night there was an update to Abyssal Sire, and I noticed I didn't have a Slayer task, so I just came over here, and literally on the first Slayer task, she gave me Abyssal Demons. So that is very nice of her. I think this is how we will wrap up the video. We'll go and check out the Abyssal Sire updates, and then we'll finish from there. Oh my god, it's so amazing. This is just my first reaction. You now guaranteed max hit with the Demon Bane weapons on the respiratory systems. So Scorching Bow guaranteed one-shots them. This is a dream come true. So I wanted to use this opportunity to talk a little bit about the Abyssal Sire and what the changes were and why I think they were necessary and also amazing. So, the Abyssal Sire was one of the first bosses they added to Old School RuneScape. So, if you don't know, Old School RuneScape is based off of a 2007 backup of the game. So, they took the 2007 version of the game and had continued developing it with an old school mindset. So, instead of all the stuff they did in RuneScape 3 with EOC and everything, they tried to keep things more centered around the way that players play Old School RuneScape, which I think was a good idea, by the way. And the Abyssal Sire was one of the first bosses they actually added to the game. And because of that, it's really old. In fact, it's almost 10 years old. It was added in 2015, which is crazy when you think about it. I still remember when they added it, and it was the new boss. But since then, a lot of things have changed about the game. They've stopped making it so harsh on the player, and they've started realizing that the point of the game is to have fun and not just make everything as long a grind as possible. And I think that shows in the Sire Changes. Most of the changes were to speed up the fight, not necessarily the parts of the fight where you're actually fighting the boss. In fact, they sort of made those a little bit longer in a way, not including the long phase, which I'll talk about in a second, but more so in terms of there's no more waiting around. They really wanted to cut out the downtime, which I think was a really good change. So I wanted to go through the fight and point out all the changes. So for starters, they made it so Demon Bane weapons are guaranteed to max hit on the respiratory systems, which is probably the best change they made in my opinion. Now, they're not guaranteed to hit. You still do have to pass the accuracy check, but as long as you do hit, you're guaranteed to max hit. And in my setup, even with just rune arrows and no rigor, my max hit is apparently over a 50. And so I'm guaranteed to one-shot the respiratory systems as long as I hit, which makes the first part of the fight so much smoother and feels so much better to do. I feel like that was my least favorite part about the fight, was just how inconsistent the respiratory systems are, having to do 2 shadow spells, like a 2-down, and going through the systems, potentially getting hit by the little tentacles for some reason, even though I stunned Sire, but somehow it just hasn't gone through yet. I don't really know what was going on before. But now it is so much easier, so much smoother. The beginning of the fight is so much better. Now, the rest of the fight, the actual combat part didn't change too much. The most notable part is the fact that they made the transitions a lot faster. So he comes down off the throne a lot faster, and he switches from phase 2 to phase 3 a lot faster. And most notably, you can actually hit him while he's transitioning now. Unfortunately, it only does half damage, which I don't know why they decided to do that. I don't think that was entirely necessary, but you do half damage. You can get in 1 to 2, maybe 3 hits, depending on where you put the boss. I don't know, but you can get in a few hits while he's moving, which at least is something. Before, it felt like you were just sitting there waiting forever, and in fact, I would just teleport over to my house, get full spec, full prayer, full health, and come back. And that way I didn't use any food or any prayer potions. That was my old method. With the new version of the boss, you don't really have time to do that, which is a good thing. You shouldn't have time to do that in the middle of a boss fight. So in that sense, it's very good. Now, I did mention that it's not entirely faster. They did actually increase Sire's health to compensate for the extra damage that you can do during the transition. But I feel like if that's the method they were going to go down, I wish they would have increased his health more, like increased it by twice as much as they did, and not have your damage be reduced during the transitions. I feel like that would make the boss feel a lot better. So right now, they increased Sire's health by 25, and they made you have a 50% damage reduction. I wish they gave him 50 extra health and had no damage reduction. But either way, I guess it doesn't really matter if it's going to end up being about the same speed. I just think it would feel better during the fight. But yeah, other than that, that's mostly it. I mean, there's a few other things about like killing the spawns and the scions and stuff, but I never really did that anyway, so I never really paid attention to that part. all in all, I think the Sire Changes are amazing. Just killing the boss now, it feels so much better not having to do the whole run out method, and it just feels like a normal boss. Whereas before, it felt like a real slog. It was really slow, and I never wanted to kill Sire because of that. This was the first time I ever actually, like, really had fun killing Sire, which must means that the changes are good. So, good job, Jagex. Alright, well, that was surprisingly extremely fun. Very happy with the Sire Changes. I ended up doing about 60 kills. Took about 2 hours, maybe even less. I'm getting way more kills per hour than I was before. I don't know the exact numbers. It's hard to tell. I don't know what I would have been getting with my old method before, and I don't really know what I was getting now. I was kind of distracted, but very happy with the Sire Changes. Alright, well, I think that's it. I think that's everything that I wanted to do. I got my cape, I did my little victory lap, I got to try out the new Sire Changes. I think that's it. This is going to be the last video in the TaskSpoon series, which is crazy to say out loud, but it's true. This is it. This is the end. Now, I've been getting a lot of questions since the finale went up about what I'm going to be doing next, and some suggestions about stuff to do, and asking if I'm going to do the Master Tier, and etc. And I just wanted to clear that all up now. I am going to continue playing on this account. I would like to continue collection logging. I want to do the combat achievements. I want to go pet hunting. I want to do a lot of stuff, and I already know what I plan to do going forward, but I'm going to save that all for the next video. I think it's going to be more interesting that way. And yeah, speaking of the next video, it might be a little bit before it ends up going up. I've got a lot of work to do, and I haven't really started yet, but I was more focused on finishing this video, which is now done, so we can move on. Again, I just want to give a big thank you to you guys for watching this and every video that I've posted. I can't believe how far we've made it in terms of the YouTube progress, and I'm excited to keep that going forward. And just wanted to remind you guys that if you enjoyed the video, check if you're subscribed. I put a lot of work into this video, and I have a lot of stuff planned coming up, so hopefully you subscribe so you don't miss out on that in the future. And while you're down there, maybe leave the video a like, leave me a comment, I don't know, all the stuff for the YouTube algorithm. And I will see you guys in the next one.